Did you know that 85% of Christians admit their prayers feel dry, lifeless, and unanswered? Why is it that so many of us kneel down to pray only to rise up feeling nothing has changed? The truth is, prayer is not about the words we say, it's about the heart behind them. And if your prayers feel powerless, it's time to rediscover what true prayer really is. Charles Spurgeon, the great 19th century preacher known as the Prince of Preachers, once said, "True prayer is neither a mere mental exercise nor a vocal performance. It is far deeper than that. It is a spiritual transaction with the Creator of heaven and earth." But here's the problem. Too many of us treat prayer like a checklist. We mumble words out of habit, but our hearts are miles away. And then we wonder why heaven seems silent. Jesus said in Mark 11:24, "Whatever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you will have them." This isn't just about miracles, it's about the miracle of faith itself. Prayer that moves mountains doesn't come from empty repetition. It comes from a heart that burns with belief, a heart that refuses to let go of God's promises. But let's be honest. How often do we approach prayer like a chore? We kneel down, say our piece, and walk away unchanged. Spurgeon warned us about this. He said, "Cold prayers ask for denial." If your prayers lack passion, don't be surprised when the answers lack power. Here's the challenge. When was the last time you prayed with desperation? When was the last time you cried out to God, not because you had to, but because you couldn't bear to live without His intervention? True prayer isn't polite. It's persistent. It's not timid. It's tenacious. It's not a whisper. It's a war cry. Imagine standing before a king. Would you mumble vague requests, or would you boldly state your need? In the same way, our prayers should be clear, specific, and full of expectation. Don't come to God with scattered thoughts. Come with a purpose. What do you truly desire? What burden weighs on your soul? Name it, claim it, believe it. And if you don't know what to pray for, look around. This world is broken. Souls are lost. Families are crumbling. Pray for the lost. Pray for the hurting. Pray for revival in your city, in your church, in your own heart. There's no shortage of needs, only a shortage of fervent prayers. Let your prayers be like arrows, aimed with precision. Let them be like a relentless tide, crashing against the throne of grace until the answer comes. The prayer that moves mountains isn't the one spoken out of habit. It's the one born from a heart that refuses to let go of God's promises. Spurgeon once shared a powerful illustration. Two noble women pleaded with King George I to spare their husbands' lives. They were dragged out of court, still on their knees, begging for mercy. Though they failed, their persistence was unforgettable. That's how we should pray, refusing to rise until we've touched the heart of God. But here's the key. Prayer is not just about asking. It's about believing. Do you truly believe God hears you? Do you trust that He will answer? Spurgeon said, "Prayer is the grandest power in the entire universe. It's more potent than gravity, electricity, or any force we know. When you pray in faith, you're not just speaking words, you're moving the hand of God. So I challenge you, step into the fullness of what prayer was meant to be. Let it be your lifeline, your strength, your greatest delight. Speak with boldness, believe with unwavering faith, and watch as God moves in ways you never imagined. Because prayer is not just words, it's power. True prayer is true power, and it's time to reclaim it. The anatomy of true prayer, Spurgeon, breaks down the essence of true prayer into 4 critical elements. Definite objects. Don't ramble. Know what you're asking for. Too often we pray in vague generalities. Bless the world. Help everyone. But Jesus said, "What things soever ye desire." Be specific. If you need healing, ask for it. If you need provision, name it. If you're burdened for a lost loved one, cry out for their salvation. Specific prayers produce specific answers. Earnest desire. Cold prayers are dead prayers. Spurgeon said, "If you have no desire, you have no prayer." When you pray, let your heart burn with longing. Pray like Jacob, who wrestled with God and said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Pray like the persistent widow who wouldn't stop knocking until justice was served. God responds to desperation. Unwavering faith. Do you believe God will answer? Jesus said, "Believe that you receive them, and you will have them." Faith is the bridge between your prayer and God's answer. Without it, prayer is just words. But with it, prayer becomes a force that shakes heaven and earth. Spurgeon called faith the hand that lays hold of God's promises. Do you have that kind of faith? Realizing expectation. Count it done before you see it. Spurgeon said, "Believe that you receive them, not that you shall receive them." True prayer doesn't just hope for an answer, it expects one. It acts as if the answer is already on its way. When you pray for healing, thank God for it before you feel better. When you pray for provision, start making plans as if the money is already in your hands. That's faith in action. The power of persistent prayer. Spurgeon often spoke of the importance of persistence in prayer. He said, "The best prayers often begin as a struggle and end as a triumph." Prayer isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's not a single arrow shot into the sky. It's a relentless barrage until the answer comes. Think of Daniel. He prayed for 21 days before the angel arrived with the answer. The angel told him, "From the first day you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before God, your words were heard." But there was a battle in the spiritual realm. The prince of Persia resisted the answer, but Daniel's persistence broke through. Your prayers are the same. They may face resistance, but don't stop. Keep praying. Keep believing. A call to action. So, what are you waiting for? If your prayer life feels dry, it's time to reignite it. Start by setting aside time each day to pray, not out of duty, but out of desire. Come to God with specific requests, burning desires, and unshakable faith. And don't stop until you see the answer. Spurgeon said, "Prayer is the slender nerve that moves the muscle of omnipotence." When you pray, you're not just speaking into the air, you're moving the hand of God. So pray boldly, pray persistently, and watch as God works in ways you never thought possible. Because prayer is not just words, it's power. True prayer is true power, and it's time to reclaim it.